Okay, so a couple of things came out of my walk on that road in Cape Coast. We left out of the haven and went for a walk, and my daughter Carissa was saying, "Mommy, you need to do a video about what you need to have when you're coming." Because one of the things we thought we knew what we would find here when we got here, and I think we took that for granted, which yes, turned out to be a disaster, because there are certain things that I expected to be here, and they're here, but not in sizes, and I'm not talking about brand here. I'm talking about just give me an example. I didn't worry about batteries because I figure batteries are everywhere, and batteries are here. In fact, you have a store further along after I pass Purdue and going up that sells American things, so you can actually get Duracell batteries there, the large ones, but the prices for them is really high, because they're selling in dollars. They're thinking of the dollars, and it's US stuff, right? So I wouldn't buy batteries there. And then I got 8 batteries for my 2 lamps here. In fact, Joe was the person who bought those batteries the first time. Very kind offer. I am not mentioning it to be negative. Joe did a good thing. I am pointing out though that the batteries are not batteries that I'm used to. So when those batteries went in, the lamp that I had, and this is where I took things for granted. When I buy batteries for that lamp, it lasts for, let me tell you, I bought those lamps when I was in North Carolina, and the same batteries I bought then was the same batteries I used up to when I was leaving Georgia. They took us here, they came with me, and I put them, and I worked for just a little while because I had them really, really long. So they worked for a little while, and then they stopped working because they were now dead. So when I replaced them with these batteries, I didn't think of the longevity. And when it started giving problems, I just thought they were, finished, dead, and which is okay, maybe shorter lifespan. But when I pulled the lamp, the batteries were rotting, swollen, and they were damaging the insides of the battery area, right? So I've been afraid to purchase them since. And then it's mostly that brand I have seen so far. Not saying that there are no other. I'm just pointing out that if you don't, especially if you're coming to an unfamiliar place and you don't know where to go to get what yet, batteries are probably one of the things in various sizes that you need to pack with you, right? The other thing that we noticed is we had a whole heap of hangers. And we said, okay, hangers would be here, so we didn't worry ourselves about it. And I am not saying hangers are not here. I am just saying how I'd buy them in the US, you're not gonna get them here in that way. I could go to any thrift shop and pack up a bunch and get them for cheap. When you're here, you're not gonna get them like that. You're going to get them packaged in like 5s per package. 4. The thick ones that I chose to take with me here, I want to continue using those because they are harder to damage or get broken, and the price is not so bad. So I think. When I went into Malcolm has them for 15 cedis plus you know what, VAT and COVID tax. I'm assuming they still have COVID tax because that's a thing I noticed they have here. When you buy in certain stores, you are paying VAT tax plus COVID tax, right? So, sorry, thank you. So I wasn't sure. So we said we'd check on the road, but when we go on the road now, they're flimsier. they are flimsier, you know. The the strength of it is not up to the strong thick plastic ones. And one lady on the road said she didn't even have those thick ones, she have thin ones, and she was saying that she was saying that it was for 15 cedis, and this is just 15. Once you get a price on the road, that's the price, but it's 15 cedis. But it was really, really thin and small. Another lady beside her had one that wasn't so big. I think it wasn't so small, it was bigger, and I think it was 4 to that pack. And the lady looked at us and told us it was 40 cedis for it, 40. So we didn't take it. And then another thing we realized was, because underwear, there are underwears everywhere, but the style that we were hoping to find, we didn't. And I am not saying underwear is not here. I'm just saying that when you just come, if there are certain things that you need immediately, you would probably likely best catch. You would not think of underwear. Not many persons will come here and immediately think that they need underwear, because they would have and they'd stock up on it. Just saying we didn't do it. So if there's anybody who is thinking, okay, when I get here I'll do that, just think about this one, because that is a problem with us now trying to find underwear for my younger daughter. There are some other things. Another thing that was surprisingly a hassle to find were the different accessories for our phones. I have a 22 and a 24S, S22 Ultra and a S24, right? And I packed extra screen protectors for the 24. It was the most recent one. I thought I had for the 22 Ultra, but no. And we have walked and stopped a couple places. People who sell phone accessories, some of them say yes they have it, when you go it's not it, different size, everything. The case for the phones is the same thing. I think I may be able to find for the Ultra, for the S24, but the 22 Ultra, maybe it's because it's an older model. You wanna yeah, you're not finding it. So I can't get the screen, the protector, and I can't get the case for it. I'm not going to show you what my phone looks like, because I had to have someone get it for me in the US, and I'm waiting on it. So right now the rubber case around the hard part has disintegrated, and I've taped it on so that it holds, and I'm worried about the screen. I changed that screen before I got here because it was cracked. So the phone accessories is something that, especially if you have really recent high brand phones like iPhone and Samsung, they love those here, and they have the case for them, but it's not usually the case that is created for it. You know, they have the hybrid or the whatever they call them. So you have to think about that. The other thing is sanitary napkins. So you don't think about, and these are things that people are sensitive to, are sensitive about when it comes to purchasing. Because if you buy the wrong one, I don't know if they'd call it brand, or maybe different brands create their things differently. So depending on what you're buying from which brand, it treats your skin and so on better. So there are persons who can do the synthetic but they need the cotton. So things like that, if you think about it, and if you are one of those persons who have to use specific brands of stuff, it's best to get a couple brands that will last you for a time until you get familiar with the surroundings and where you need to go to get these things. Malcolm has but different brands. My daughter so far gotten some that are scented, and I know a lot of persons have issues with scented stuff that goes near their skin and cause issues. So that's another thing. So I don't want to stretch this video out. I'm just gonna stick to those for now. Your hangers for your clothes, your batteries, your screen protectors, or general phone accessories, and your put charger with that as well. They have those things here. All I'm saying is, when you just come, you're not going to be able to know where to go to get what. So people like to shop and compare prices. When you just get here, until you are familiar, you may end up paying double or triple what these things cost if you don't navigate in the correct places, have the honest people around you guiding you, and so on. So it's best to have these things ahead of time, so that when you come, you have time to just walk up and down and get familiar with your surroundings. Come to Cape Coast, walk up and down, get familiar with where things can be found, and so on. So your batteries, your phone accessories, your underwear, your socks was an issue too.
Not really, you can get socks, but you don't know, it material different that it has.
Carissa, what David was saying, socks. I think she's talking about socks is here, because as I'm saying, we're not saying these things are not here, but there are persons who are very specific about the type of things they want to wear. So you will need time to be able to identify where you can find those things. So David was suggesting socks. I said batteries and underwear and sanitary napkins and phone accessories. Those stand out in my mind. I think I already mentioned that if you're coming and you're not bringing a lot of house stuff, have enough basic things: pillowcases, fitted sheets. They sell sheets here, but you have to really search, and I'm saying that because I figure it must exist, but I've heard of persons buying sheet sets and it does not have the fitted part, right? You have the flats, you have the pillowcases, but it doesn't have the fitted part. Not saying it is not here, just saying if you come here looking for it, it's going to take some time for you to locate them. All right, I've said that so many times. So that's it. I'm going to leave that at that point for now. I don't want to stretch the video, so when I think of, well, it's not when I think of more, I'll do another video to add to this. And of course, as I go along, I'll let you know, because there are some things that, there's one thing I'm trying to find that I know it's here, but finding it is another thing. What do they call it? Can't remember. I actually paused it to try and remember. These girls said something else, something they added. So I'll just say what they added. They were adding that they noticed that a sanitary napkin they bought recently did not say, it felt different. It had to them smell scented, but it didn't have that stipulation on the packaging. So shopping for those things can really take time, and if you're unprepared, you can end up in problems. So I'm just saying. So since we had those struggles to get those things at this point, especially with the hangers, and I forgot to mention the hangers again when I was restating, the hangers are not frustrating because everything just takes time, but we really can't find any now. So we're going to be asking questions, and when you talk to people, they will tell you where they find things. I usually ask the Ghanaians around me too where I can find things, but some of them can't explain because there is still that language barrier. But you have to think about those things. I think the more I think about it, the more I'm realizing how important it is to prepare for some of these things and some of these eventualities and so on, just to avoid overpaying for them and being stuck in a situation where you need it like no and you just cannot get it. All right, so make sure to jot down the things in the future so that I don't get stuck, but those are the items I'm thinking of at this point in time. So I'll see you again in another video.